Welcome, everybody, to the YTWPodcast, now gluten-free. I'm your host, Great Canadian Guy, and with me this week we have Jess from port-haven.com.
Hello!
Nikita of the Sergeant Curry Pants YouTube channel.
Hi!
And our guest this week, Adam of King Starscreem, the YouTube channel, and Twitch.
Ooh.
Sup?
Not much. HBU, buddy.
Look at him being all cool.
This ain't a thing. This ain't even a thing.
There ain't no K.
It's a pretty big thing. I've been very nervous all day, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just relax. I'll guide your hips. You'll be good.
Ooh.
Oh my. Be gentle with me.
No. That ain't happening.
We're starting off on this foot, are we?
Yep. I just got another HR report. So let's start with you, Adam. How was your week, man?
It was good. I lost my gym bag on a train.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good week.
Yeah.
That was Monday night.
That means you don't have to go back to the gym, right?
Perfect.
It had my Slytherin shorts in it.
Oh.
Oh, that sucks.
Man.
I bet they're being worn by like some Hufflepuff or something.
How will anyone know that you're a magic racist?
Yeah. I was really
I've
hoping...
always known I was a magic
Everyone about the
racist.
snake in his pants now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm really hoping that means those are Harry Potter shorts and not, like, shorts that slither, because that just sounded uncomfortable. My Slytherin shorts.
That would be kind of gross.
Yeah.
But I'm also intrigued.
It'd be like, it sounds like something in Dark Souls. It's like the Slytherin shorts.
Just gives you a permanently oiled status.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you end up, you just stay fully lit the entire time.
No, bad Adam.
Yeah, I lost my gym bag. I lost my Slytherin shorts. I had a half read book in there.
Oh.
Aww.
That's the most annoying thing. There's nothing of any actual value in there. Mm-hmm. But there's a second half of a book that I have not read yet out in the world with one page really irritatingly dog-eared to keep my place because I never have a bookmark with me.
And you can never find that book again.
Someone's going to open that book and undo my placekeeping and read my book.
Oh, man.
So the big problem is that you're a neurotic mess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've seen his videos, right?
I have.
Yeah.
So that's really been bugging me for like 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So it was a really interesting book as well. Homo Deus, a sequel. It was a sequel.
Oh.
I have got one
Wasn't
quarter
it
of a
was a
series
sequel.
left.
Mm-hmm.
It was a sequel.
Oh
I've already read the first half.
My gosh.
Sorry, I'm winding myself up already.
Yeah, you're just so amped right now.
Just like, damn.
So
book.
did anything not awful happen to you this week?
Watch Annie.
How are the streams going? How's your streaming?
I haven't streamed for ages. Not on my channel anyway.
Gotcha.
I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
I just haven't had the time. Like, Fiona's been training, so usually any time I get that's when I do it. But I've been really lax in my videos as well. So I've been like trying to edit those and then getting home and being like, I've been at work all day. I could spend like 3 hours messing about with videos and stuff, or I could lay in bed, eat an entire loaf of bread, and shout at the cold people on my television. Which is the Winter Olympics, not just, I'm not just watching a live stream of a fridge or something.
Right. Which would be, I mean, I might do that. Just to see.
But I've got nothing done, ultimately, in the last few weeks.
Yeah, that happens. There have been times where I have to, like, just chill and take days off the channel because I just get so burned out. Because, like, I work overnights for my job. So it gets real rough to, like, come home from working in the middle of the night and then know you have to go to bed in the afternoon, but life starts in the afternoon and you got to get a video done.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That is so brutal. I used to be made to work nights every now and then for like campaigns at my old employer, and after I'd done that, I basically couldn't do anything for an entire day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep, but I also couldn't function.
Right.
So
I know that feeling. Oh.
Yup.
Yeah, you two have done it way more than me. I used to do it. Mine always. I think the problem was mine were always one-offs, and then I had emails from the office during the day because no one. It's not an environment where nights is a usual thing. You know, so no one else is geared up to be like, let's not bug this person with our trivial rubbish, and let's continue annoying him.
Yep.
Even though he's been up all night in a cold train station watching a screen with some other people he doesn't like. Yeah. But that's my week in a nutshell, I suppose.
So, Jess, how was your week?
My week was great. We just got done. So we're in full swing with the Port Haven Streamcast. Today we had before I came to record this, we were live. So today in recording land, it's February 15th, so yesterday was Valentine's Day. So today's stream, we talked about our favorite and least favorite ships in the Star Wars universe, which was pretty fun. But it's been pretty happening in the Star Wars land right now, because we finally had that Solo trailer, and I did like a full breakdown for that. We Star Wars Rebels, the last episodes of Star Wars Rebels start on Monday, and I also started a vlog series tackling what it means to have balance in the Force, which is a little bit daunting, but I've been meaning to do it for
I saw that in my subs, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's been a thing I've wanted to do for a while, and I was going to wait until I finished my Kylo Ren and Rey series, but I realized the last video of that, I need to talk about my opinion on what balance of the Force means before I can get on to my opinion of everything else. So I'm kind of deviating and doing this series and then coming back to finish my Kylo and Rey series from The Last Jedi.
I'm excited because I think we actually agree on that.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to know what you have to say from the videos. Not just in a plug, you should watch my stuff sort of way, but in a...
No, I get that. We talked quite a bit about, like, what is the Force, how do you balance it, what is the Sith, what is the dark side. I think we generally agree, so that's going to be a neat watch.
Yeah, I'm excited for the series. I pull a lot from 3 episodes from Star Wars The Clone Wars called the Mortis Trilogy, which blew my mind the first time I watched them, and just fundamentally changed how I view the dark side of the Force. And I'm excited to kind of finally tackle that and get into some of the details with that.
Yeah, again, if anybody listening to this if you like Star Wars and you're not checking out port-haven.com and the Port Haven, your Star Wars Refuge YouTube channel, you're wasting your time.
Well, I appreciate that. We try really hard to give like information based on actual stuff and not like based off of rumors on too much Red Bull. Like, I put a lot of pride in making sure there's actual substance in the stuff.
Rumors on too much Red Bull is really specific, and I love that.
We will never be that channel. If that's what you're looking for, that is not us.
If you're looking for not idiots,
I might be on too much Red Bull, for the record, but that's not the source of my information.
Right. It's not a psychotic break of caffeine overdose.
Exactly.
That's not what's happening. Great. Anything else?
No, I think those are the highlights. For what's been going on around us. Yeah.
Can I just pull you up on one thing there? Though?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned it, and you haven't actually told us.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Star Wars ship?
What? Oh, well, I mean,
you said you've had an entire conversation about it, so there must be an answer.
Well,
and now
I mean, you're
denying us.
You could watch the 3rd episode of the Port Haven Streamcast on youtube.com/the Star Wars Refuge, if you want to know that.
That's true, you could.
That would be the right thing to do, I think.
That is the right thing to do, yes.
Awesome. So on to our main event. How was your week, Nikita?
Yes!
Oh, man.
Nikita!
Every week I just wish I had a normal week.
We don't.
I hope your life is always hell.
Oh, it's not hell for us, if that makes you feel better.
Your awful life makes us feel great, though, so it balances out.
You know, this time I'll start with the small victories that happened this past week.
Okay,
boy.
Yeah.
So, as I told you guys, I thought my cat was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jess knows this. I don't know if anyone else knows this, but they're wild cats. They're strays. They're not fans of being petted and cuddled and strange human beings. So it was very difficult to get her to the vet.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to strategize with this. So I became friends with the vet, and she was a nice lady. So I got onto Skype and I said, listen, this is my cat Tabuli. She's really fat. I don't know if she's pregnant. I don't know if I can check it up like a human being, like what happens with cats. So then she's like, can you turn her around and stuff? I'm like, look at her. She is not touchable. She does not like people. She's like, cool. So I had to strategize. I put food on the other end of her so like her belly showed. And then the lady's like, oh no, she's not pregnant. She's just fat. She needs to go on a diet. And then I was like, you sure? You sure she's not pregnant? It's like, nah, you overfeed this cat. I was like, it's not my fault. She looks at me with those eyes. And then
I like how the stray cat is overweight.
Yep.
and then she's like, what
That's
do you mean?
impressive.
I was like, look at her face right now. And then she just looks at this vet like, I know what you're telling her about less food and I don't find you amusing. And she's like, I see what you mean, but she needs to go on a diet.
That's great.
Yep.
So I put her on the diet and things seem to be going well. It's good to know she's not pregnant. The second tiny victory I've had this week is, I'm not trying to stereotype brown families, but my brown family is hella cheap.
Sarge! This is why you have your own file with the Human Resources Department.
Like, there's certain things I can put up with, but my mom and toilet paper, it's just too much. Like,
What are you talking about?
Like, I will show you, and Adam, I will show you this toilet paper my mom bought, and she thinks it's perfectly fine. You could
Is this what prompted your earlier Facebook message you sent me about the toilet paper? I thought that was just like a one-off humorous thing. I didn't realize there was actual history behind your relationship with toilet paper.
What does she buy, like 1-ply or something?
It is like half a ply. Yes, you could roll the entire thing, right? Now, normally it's like 1-ply, it's okay, it's fine, I can tolerate it.
Yeah, you just get more and make it 3-ply.
Exactly. So she bought this extra cheap one, and she's so proud of it. I rolled out like half the roll, and I could still see my fingers. It is so transparent.
Oh.
That's not real.
Like, no, this is not happening. This is not. So I get mad. She, and I take the cup.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? It's your job this week to pick up your sister from work. And I took that job on well. I was playing SpongeBob trap music in the parking lot. Like she was just like, you know what? It's so loud. It's annoying. You're embarrassing me. But I had a good time with that. I was enjoying that. But this time, I took the car and I said, you know what? My sister's finishing work early when she was not. And I went to the grocery store and I bought the good toilet paper. And I came home. I took out all her toilet paper and I put it away where she could not find it, and I put the fancy one. and that victory, I was just so proud of. So those were my small victories this week.
It's good stuff. I like that.
Yesterday was a good day, though. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. And my friend and I, we have this tradition that we will not mope on Valentine's. We don't understand, why do people think that Valentine's Day should only be celebrated by the couple, right?
Right.
So we always have this thing where we would go out and just eat. We would eat whatever we wanted, do whatever we wanted. And we'd eat the greasiest, most disgusting junk you would ever put in your body. Like we just do it. It's fine. But this year, we said we're gonna behave like adults.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do this the prim and proper style. We're gonna dress up all fancy. We're gonna book reservations at a fancy place. Now this was the plan, right? This is the plan. I'm not gonna say it turned out that way because we dressed up fancy, and we said we're gonna be each other's Valentine's date. And our parents, you know, they've been questioning our sexuality all our lives. This made it worse. So, I got her donuts for this date. She got me flowers. I said that's a bunch of crap. Take your flowers away. Ate the donuts. She took the flowers away. What am I can't eat flowers. What? Why would you give me something?
I've always had a problem with live flowers as a sign of gifts, because it's like, you're buying me a thing that will eventually die. Do you think our love is going to eventually die?
It will slowly die in front of my eyes. Why are you giving me this?
Is this really a metaphor? Is that what you're actually saying right now?
Yeah, and she got me the weird kind. This flower was dipped in food coloring, so it looked like this unnatural alien color.
Yeah.
Oh man, like, you take that and I eat the donuts.
There you go. The way to put her in her place.
Yeah. Then we went to this restaurant. It's 2 minutes in. We're sitting there, and we're both very loud people.
No.
So we sit at this fancy restaurant, and it's so quiet, and it's 2 minutes in. We see the menu, and we can't even pronounce half the things. And it's like suffocating us. So we get up, and we're like, we can't do this crap. We get up, we go to McDonald's.
Yes.
We're eating whatever we want.
All dressed up.
Yeah.
All dressed up. We're just eating whatever we want. And then we decided, we went home, we got the whiteboard out in my room, and we started planning and discussing without phones, because we decided we're going to do this old-fashioned way. We wanted to figure out who shot Tupac. I don't know.
What?
Well, the correct answer is no one, because he's not dead.
Now, when Tupac died, that was 1996, so we were roughly 4 years old. So now, for us to remember the names back then, we're sitting, and it's like we're writing on the board all the suspects. Yeah. And we're trying to figure this. I don't know why this is happening at 10 o'clock in the night, Valentine's Day. I don't know how the conversation led to that. And we were sober that night. Like, I don't understand how our brain went there. But it did.
It did.
And we have this disagreement because she thinks Tupac was shot 5 times by one of his recording label friends or whatever. And then I said, and she disagrees with me, and we still aren't allowed to Google it. I said, and I distinctly remember this. I don't know why I argue that I remember what happened when I was 2 years old. I said in 1994, Polly, and her name is Polly. I was like, damn you, Polly. In 1994, he lied that he was shot numerous times when really he was reaching for a gun and shot himself. So he was embarrassed and he said someone else shot him so many times. So I think the person he accused of shooting him that time got back at him and shot him. And she just, the argument got heated. We ended up turning on John's stream. And she I was like, you know what?
Great Canadian guy for when you're having an argument with your platonic lover. I don't know.
Yeah, we needed a break from that argument. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to show you my cool friends online.
There you go.
Well, you didn't start in the right place, did you?
And she doesn't know anything about gaming, right? And then I also switched on Adam and Fiona, and they were playing another game, and she's like, are they playing Pac-Man? And I'm like, nobody plays Pac-Man. Nobody. She thinks every game is Pac-Man. She does not know anything about gaming.
Come on, Polly. Gosh.
Jeez, Polly, you are the worst date ever. And then she went home. So that was my week. How was your week, John?
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
Zite.
There you go.
Is that right?
No, like, hang on though.
Yeah.
Why do you and your friend have nothing in common?
I don't know how we
I have a friend like that from high school
close.
where we have nothing in common, and
I did, and now we're not friends because
Yeah.
we have nothing in common.
yeah,
We've
I
been friends
don't.
for
Yeah.
over 10 years. There's nothing in common between us. She doesn't play games because she believes it's the work of the devil. I play games all the time. She doesn't.
Oh my.
curse. I
You're
curse
a
with
rational
every-
human, and she's insane. Got it.
Mm.
Thank you. I curse like in every sentence. She does not curse.
Mhm.
She types like this, like instead of saying contractions like I'm, she would say
Right.
I am. She would type the full word. And
She
it
doesn't do
sounds weird.
contractions?
Yeah, she would be like,
That's
I am
she.
What is she gonna do when she has
not-
children?
happy.
Is she English second language? Because that's the sort of thing they do.
No, first language. And her sentence is like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, if you don't know her, you'd think she was being rude or being blunt, because it's like if you make a joke with her, she would be like, please do not say that. But what she means is, haha, don't say that. That's funny. Like, she has a weird way of talking.
Oh, I gotcha.
Like she
Huh.
just uses full sentences all the time.
This has me really perked up now.
Really?
Like this has my, I don't know why it has like my psychology cogs going.
Yeah.
I want to meet her.
You'd absolutely love her.
I'm sure I wouldn't.
Because that's why that was the height of my sarcasm right there. Because John would be like, "Oh, okay, the game's the work of the devil. Cool."
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely the work of a fictional being and not at all the people that made them.
I drank a can of Monster in front of her one day, and she's like, "Do you know that's the sign of the devil?" And I'm like,
Oh my gosh, I've seen a video actually of somebody breaking down about how like the logo of Monster is using like all
she
these.
sent me
It's
that
the
too.
weirdest conspiracy theory.
She sent me that as well. She was like, "This is proof." I'm like, "No, it's not."
But no, it's just a lot of people getting really excited. It's an M made out of claw marks that a monster would make. That's what the Monster logo is.
Yeah, that's what she said. She was like, "You know what? Those are 3 7s or something like that." And I'm like, no.
No, they're
that's
not.
the letter M.
They're really not.
So what you're saying is Illuminati confirmed.
Yes,
Mm.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. She wouldn't listen to so much of music because she'd be like, "That's the devil's music."
Am I the only one like thinking about that old Adam Sandler movie right now?
Maybe. Are you thinking of like Little
The
Nicky?
Water Boy?
Oh, Waterboy. Okay.
Oh yeah,
That's the devil. Wrestling's the devil.
Oh,
Girls
yeah.
is the devil.
that is her.
School is the
Oh.
devil.
That is her.
Everything's the devil.
Yeah. God.
Oh,
I would just
I-
say though.
I would like to
say
preface
God
that
in
I have
front of
no
her. She'd be
problem
like,
with
"Do not
religious
take it
people.
in vain."
Yeah. I would like to just preface a post face, I guess, everything.
Yeah.
I do not have a problem with religious people. That's not an excuse to be an idiot.
Right. I get that.
Mm.
It's like, and it's one thing too to like not like something because it makes you feel like it affects you negatively in your own worldview. But it's a different thing to just be like objectively, this is a thing that makes everyone feel that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This thing is evil. Well, what makes you say that? My
Oh, the
magic
best
book.
are the
Right.
ones who play music backwards and they like see that hidden message.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
Numerologists and people that, like, see fucking patterns. Yeah.
Paul is dead
Okay.
or whatever.
You guys
Well, what's-
need to read about fucking Penrose tiles, guys. This is exactly the same phenomenon. Penrose tiles are made to look like a pattern with no repeating effect, so it's not a real pattern. But your brain will try to turn it into a pattern, and
Oh.
it hurts
Ah.
you, give you a
that's-
headache.
Oh,
Ooh.
right.
it's exactly the same thing as these conspiracy theorists, people that are trying to find meaning in like songs playing them backwards in the Bible. They're seeing things that their brains register as patterns that are not patterns and trying to make them connect.
Well, your brain is designed to deal with patterns.
Yeah, so it's very good at it,
so
but it's very bad at
look for patterns.
But it's very bad at like.
Oh my gosh, this is making my head hurt.
But that's
you looked them up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it hurts. Because like I keep thinking I see it, and then there's like it's not there, and it's my eyes are watering. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Oh, this hurts.
They're infuriating, aren't they?
Dad, why would you tell me about this?
Because this is exactly how conspiracy theorists work. They see the big Penrose tile, and they're just going back and further or closer and closer, trying to find the pattern, and it's not there.
I feel like it's like my eye is trying to move and it can't. It's like.
I'm not gonna look at that because I know I'm gonna look at it in the night and I'm gonna stay awake.
Conspiracy theories are the iTunes randomized shuffle conspiracy.
Why am I still...
When iTunes was first out, and people be, I'm going to play stuff on random, and they go, it keeps playing the same song over and over. Because in a random sample, you're going to get clumps, but people wouldn't see that and think it's a pattern. So they had to literally introduce an algorithm to make it less random.
Yep.
Just so people thought it was random. Your brain is messed up.
I'm thinking of that one joke where someone said, if you play Nickelback backwards, you hear the words of the devil, but if you play it forwards, you hear something worse. You hear Nickelback.
True dat.
Oh, man. I want to know why I'm still looking at these. I can't stop.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, her theory for Tupac was also initially that
it was the work of the devil?
got to him. Because he sold his soul to the devil to be successful.
It was Biggie Smalls, folks. Biggie did it.
Biggie did it.
All your differences aside, you are two people who are capable of getting into an extremely heated argument about who killed Tupac.
Yeah.
And that's what connects you.
And I don't know how, like, for over 10 years, we've just been friends. And people would think,
just been friends.
No, I mean, like, we...
Were you more than friends before that?
No, I meant...
Apparently her family wonders.
Well, I mean, we did kind of show up at each other at the door with flowers and donuts. No, man, she'd be like, that's the work of the devil.
I'm surprised she doesn't think...
Lesbians, work of the devil.
It's like, I'm surprised she doesn't think the devil killed Tupac.
That's what she thought initially. She was like, no, he sold his soul to the devil. That's how his records were so good. And then he couldn't pay it back. And the devil
But how isn't rap music the work of the devil?
It probably is.
I don't know. All the words, the swearing, the strippers. The devil. I don't...
But hell just sounds like a lot of fucking fun, doesn't it? Got like Tupac and strippers and music.
My mom and I always joke that our entire family is going to hell one day, and we'll all just meet up. Like, hey, what are you doing? It's like a family reunion, all of us in hell.
Isn't your family Hindu?
Well, yeah. I guess hell would be Earth then. We'd just be born again.
Yeah, we're just gonna come back to Earth.
Like, hey, John, I'm back.
It's like, wow, you
died yesterday.
You're an octopus now.
I'll be back as like a tree. I don't know.
Oh man. But yeah, for my week, which we didn't quite get a chance to get into there, things have actually been going okay. My channel's been growing slowly, but this is that time of year where nothing really happens.
Right.
Just been playing Fallout 4. I've been playing more Warframe. People have been enjoying that. Other than that, haven't got anything to complain about. Made a new lady friend. That was cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, actually a fan of the channel.
Ooh.
Now I'm in this weird position where this is someone who is into me, who knows way more about me than I know about them, because they've been watching me for months.
Right.
She was strategizing.
I don't know if she was strategizing as much as just, like, learning.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does.
It doesn't sound less creepy, but she was waiting, learning.
But I know what you mean. Like you're on when you meet someone for the first time, you're on the same learning curve. Where she's already like halfway up hers.
Yeah, and she
kind of
makes these like
All
claims about my
females
personality and
always
stuff.
know more in the beginning. We do our research. You're always gonna be knowing better.
I think you do slightly more than most, probably.
Yeah.
Just, I already know what you look like.
I already know what you look like.
Right.
No big deal.
Well, I mean, it's 100% a thing. Like, because that person gets total control over how much she says, and then you're just around for hours in a day.
But yeah, that's been neat. We've been just talking for the last, 2 weeks or so. Other than that, channel's good. Can't complain about life situation. Yeah. Boring, but good. And I couldn't ask for much else.
Hey, that's not boring. That's awesome.
Well, I didn't have, the platonic date from hell. So, boring.
Yeah, that's true.
Ending with Tupac and watching John and Adam.
Alright, so we're going to go on to the news.
All right.
Our top story, the state of Hawaii has introduced 4 bills to address loot boxes in video games.
Ooh.
Nice.
So, this all seems to have come out of the whole Battlefront 2 loot box nonsense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone seems to have taken notice, but Hawaii has, and as we talked about before, some Scandinavian countries like Sweden has taken notice of this and is trying to pass some laws. So, just sort of simplify what Hawaii is trying to do is regulate loot boxes in the same way they do gambling. Because while loot boxes may technically not be gambling, they're definitely gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the one of the important things that this law is going to do is prevent marketing them or making them available to people under the age of 21.
Oh, gotcha. So yeah, it's like how we do cigarettes here. You're not supposed to be able to market them for people under 18.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so we're going to be seeing, if that goes through, that sets a legal precedent, and that could actually have a major effect on how game developers, and, well, it's not the devs, how
studios,
publishers approach monetizing games and games as service, as they've come to fucking love calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I don't know if in the bill it lists this or not, but there was when the whole EA controversy happened, you've got the distinction between a loot box that can affect progression and a loot box that is cosmetic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I think if you branch laws out to other countries, they're going to make that definition between those things, because a gambling that you get some reward from is one thing. If I gambled on something and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll dye your hair" or something, I mean, it's different because it's a real world thing, but you know what I mean? It's a cosmetic change doesn't affect how competitive you can be at a game.
Right.
It doesn't affect your chance of winning or your rates of winning.
Right, but that's actually not, but that's not even the concern of this. The concern is twofold. One, that people get addicted to buying loot crates because it's gambling. And 2, that there are secondary markets in a lot of these games where people sell skins for large amounts of money.
Yes.
So you are getting value or not value based on what you open because of the secondary market.
Right.
Yeah, this isn't about like the ethics of selling loot crates in a full price video game or anything.
Right.
This is about like loot crates are clearly gambling and need to be
and at such a young, impressionable age, you know, you don't want kids to get addicted to gambling or the gambling mentality, because I mean, it costs money. It's gonna harm them in ways. So I think this is a good thing, especially since they.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, Nikita,
No,
Nikita,
you
Nikita, were you finished?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
They might just knock loot boxes on the head and go back to basic microtransactions.
Yeah.
It's not gambling.
Oh, yeah.
It's a straight up purchase.
That's a safer approach.
It's no less annoying, but it's what they might just end up doing. And then the only gamble you've got is, they start putting things in packs, and they do. Everyone does their whole for 12 hours only that you can buy this item that wasn't previously available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All you're gambling on is waiting for the correct time to buy stuff.
Right.
And then you end up with, I don't know, like cross out situation where it's a straight up purchase of something. They have their crates in it, but you can't buy those, and they're really not that frequent. You
right.
can directly purchase things, and then there's an in-game economy where the things you have directly purchased can be sold for the in-game currency.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, and in a free game, that's perfectly fine structure.
Yes.
There's no problems with that at all.
It's when when you have to pay £60 or $60 for a game, and then continue to buy stuff when you've got it.
Right.
Right. As I'm so wont to quote Jim Sterling, he puts it that they don't just want to make money; they want to make all of the money. If they can't get literally all of your money, they don't want to even try.
Well, it's because they have to answer. They answer to their shareholders. They're a business. They're a business, and the only thing a corporation does is there's the whole corporate ecosystem evolution where the ones that rise to the top are the ones that better competing for your money. Mm-hmm. All of the others die.
And that's all they should have to do.
Yeah.
The thing is that
there's no regulation of it.
Yeah, they have to do it within a regulatory system, or it's just exploitative.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
I agree.
And what I think's interesting about like loot crates too is I feel like it's the scale of it that matters. So like if you think about it, I've bought packages of trading cards before.
Sure.
And the idea is you get the trading cards and you hope that you get one of the rare cards in it.
Yeah.
But, at some level, it's kind of still sort of gambling because you are trying to get the cool card. But it is a thing where you are paying base amount for just collectible cards in general. But there's not this, because they're literally just trading cards that you don't need to achieve anything other than having the trading cards. There's not like this culture around them where you need to have them or else you're not going to be able to achieve the other thing. Where in video games, getting loot crates can affect your ability on how good you can be at the game. And it has this short-term kind of instant reward for wanting to buy more. And I think that's really what makes them dangerous. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem. We've said multiple times on the podcast, like, it's different when it's cosmetic versus something you need to play the game.
Right.
It's at some level, I don't have a problem with you buy a thing and you don't know what you're going to get when you open it. Like, that surprise is fun. The problem is when it's specifically rigged in such a way where you get screwed certain times when you get stuff. So, like, I've bought packs of Star Wars trading cards and gotten cool cards, and they're super not rare at all. They're just the base cards, but they look cool, and I'm fine with it. But it's different when you're getting a thing where it's like, okay, well, maybe you'll get one or two that look cool, and then some of them are just going to be, like, blank. Right? That's when it becomes kind of a ripoff. Because, like, then I'm paying money and I might not really get the thing that I'm really going for, I guess. And I for me, that's really the difference when it comes to the type of loot crates we're talking about. Is the ones that are intentionally designed to make you feel bad for what you got, as opposed to the ones that make you feel good for what you're getting, like a positive reinforcement of oh look, this time I bought a thing and I got a cool thing, that's cool. Like, that just feels different to me than oh darn it, all I got was this. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting argument, because then how does this affect Hearthstone?
Right.
Well, is a card pack, would a card pack in Hearthstone be classified as a loot box?
Yeah.
Because it says you buy this pack, you will get 4 normals, one rare, and a legendary or a chance for a legendary. And the problem is they're not publishing. You don't know what the odds of getting that are, and one of the bills is about disclosing your odds of receiving rewards. How does it? Does Hearthstone have to start saying, "Oh well, no one under a certain age can play this game, or no one under a certain age can pay money to get a pack"? You can earn you have to under a certain age earn the in-game gold to get a pack. I mean, it's a free-to-play model, so microtransactions are fair enough. But the microtransactions are basically loot boxes. It feels like a game like that. Magic the Gathering's not going to be so impacted because they started as a physical copy and they're most popular as a physical copy. The video games don't have the same kind of player base.
Right.
But Hearthstone's purely a video game, and it's purely chance what you get in those packs.
Yeah.
So do they have to publish odds of the rares? They have to publish odds of each individual card in there. If they say, you've got X chance, a 1 in 15 chance of getting a legendary, do they then have to publish the odds of each legendary appearing because they may be suppressing ones that are more powerful than others?
That's a lot to notify people of.
Yeah.
I mean, but that also puts into perspective how much hidden information there is that you really need to know to make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That and that's what it's about. It's about consumers being able to make an informed decision.
Right.
That information
with Magic
has
the
to
Gathering,
be ready there.
that's my favorite game. I play that all the time. And I'm actually open to the idea that opening booster packs could be considered a kind of light gambling, but I'm not aware of any instances of somebody becoming addicted to opening booster packs. Like, yeah, there's a euphoric fix of opening it up and seeing what you got and getting the good thing or being let down or whatever, but I don't know anyone who buys like 2 or 3 boxes a week and just has to open the packs to see what they get.
Yeah.
So, this isn't a representative example, but I know because they do it for the channel, but Boogie2988 does his Magic the Gathering box openings, and he'll open like 4 boxes.
Sure.
It's not inconceivable that there is someone out there doing that without views, without getting monetary feedback, because they open it and they say, oh, this card's worth X amount, this card's worth X amount, and it becomes a form of trading for them almost.
There are people that do that. That's MTG Finance, those assholes. If you're gonna, that's another thing I guess that makes it different is Magic cards are an investment to an extent. And like if you open 4 boxes of Magic cards, you're going to make your money back and then some.
Yeah, I suppose if you open 4 boxes of Magic cards, there is an inherent value within that.
I don't know what the cutoff, and it is going to be different from expansion to expansion. What the cutoff to where like you are 99% likely to make more than what you put in back, but I'm gonna say 4 boxes is healthily past that threshold for the majority of expansions.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Boogie's unboxings and like a few of them, and he's like a certain card will come out that is worth the value of the box.
Yes,
and it's crazy. I don't think I've ever watched one where he hasn't at least made the value of what he's bought back.
Yeah, so I guess that's another thing that I was actually able to look at that myself is the economy, the secondary market around Magic is much healthier.
Yeah,
but you can't do that in Hearthstone. I know of no way to sell a copy of a card to another player.
Right.
And that's going to be it could be a sticky situation for Blizzard in that game because it depends on what the lawmakers say. Yep,
but at the same time, cry me a river.
Yeah, no, totally. It's just it would be a very interesting case to pay attention to, I think.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be talking about this over time. Like we've already talked about it at every step, basically, of it becoming a thing, and I expect us to follow this through until whatever happens. So stay tuned to the YTWPodcast, people, and definitely not the other more popular sources that also
that we draw
talk about these things. All right. Anybody have anything else to add about this bill or loot boxes?
I think I'm
just the whole EA thing, and then they said, "Oh, okay, we'll stop" after it all kicked off. Loads of people bought the game, and were like, "Oh, we should trust them now." And I was just like, "No, don't trust them. They're a corporation. They're going to put them back in." They never said they wouldn't.
Right.
And then they did.
And
then people were like, "Oh, they put them back in."
Reported. No, go ahead.
Sorry, so no, I'm done.
As we covered last time, they failed to meet their sales prediction of 10 million copies at only 7 million copies. So they're just going to go ahead and put those back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so irritating.
All right, so on to our next story. Google is reportedly working on its own video game console with hopes of competing with the Xbox One, the PS4, and launching alongside their own new streaming platform.
Nice.
So if you thought,
are they not targeting? Sorry.
I was gonna say, so if you were already, if Google didn't know enough about you already, now it's gonna have whole new ways to track you.
Now they know not only what you buy and what you masturbate to. Now they know exactly what you play.
Yep.
I mean, people are selling cardboard under the disguise of innovation, so I think it's healthy competition for the consoles. Like, I don't understand that cardboard thing. So.
Well, the Labo is just a modifiable toy that kids can make into sort of emergent games. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, but I am not paying for my child to play with cardboard. Like,
why not?
I would give them
we played
with cardboard for free, and I'd be like, "Kid, use that."
I mean, there's that argument.
I mean, but then it's not
cheap though. So
anyway, we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Well, I mean, I can see it both ways. Like, it's obviously it's not marketed for 40-year-olds unless the 40-year-olds have kids. And it can be a way to trick your kid who doesn't want to play with cardboard into playing with cardboard that looks a little bit more high-tech. But, I mean, I know when I was a kid, I found ways to use cardboard that wasn't like a game showing me. But, I don't know, I can see it as when it comes to something like that, I'm more power to it. Like, we'll know if it's a good idea if it sells copies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And one thing that stands out to me, and I need more information on this, is because, like I said, it's a streaming service as well.
Yeah, the Google thing.
So
they're calling it
like pay your GameFlix money, and then you play the game through the GameFlix thing.
So Steam.
Yeah, no, keep going.
It's kind of like Steam, but can you download these games? I can't find an answer to that. Can I put them on a hard drive, or can I only stream them?
Right? Are you?
Because I can't download Westminster Abbey and watch that off of Netflix,
Right.
Yeah,
because that would really limit...
Question.
Yeah, it is a great question, because it limits the type of games you'd really be able to play unless you have a really good internet connection.
I'll cry. Oh, man.
I was going to say, then again, Google probably only cares about people with good internet connections anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this reads like a different... Like, they're just coming at the same thing Xbox tried to do with the always online DRM crap from a different direction.
Right.
See, it's a service. It's not a big fist in your ass.
Right.
It's a service.
Well, I think the other way that they're coming at this differently, though, is Xbox was an offline thing that has progressively become more online. Google has always been online. So, like, if they're having... Like, if you think of Google's customers, and not just people who use Google, but I mean people who actively use different Google products, be it a phone or what have you. These are all folks who are already online all the time and probably have good internet connections, and they have a Chromebook, and they like the Google brand. So it's Google taking their brand and expanding it into something new. So the Google fans aren't going to complain that they always have to be online because they are. Where Xbox was coming from a base, it's like moving from YouTube to Twitch as opposed to starting on Twitch. Like, it's Google is going into this with the base that will follow them. So I think it's less likely to fail than what Xbox tried to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it will
if I had
work.
the
I'm just saying it's less
Wi-Fi of
likely
the
to fail.
gods, I'd buy this, but you know,
Right.
yeah.
I'm interested to see what they can do, and if they decide to become a studio as well, maybe they could be coming up with some interesting new games we wouldn't have otherwise gotten to see.
Right.
I think the thing about there's a couple of things about a Google console that, you know, Google Android, Google owned, open source.
Mm-hmm.
They're relatively friendly with third party developers. So their console should be easy to make games for, and that's probably going to be a thing they go for. They're going to try and get as many independent developers and things developing on their console as possible.
And mods. It could be a console with mods.
What if? Okay, you just gave me an idea. What if they made, just as an example, Unreal Engine a part of their subscription service? Like, you can work with Unreal Engine if you have this console.
Yeah.
It may be stuff like that. That's the thing about Google, is they work so well with a lot of the different developers of different things. Yeah. And you look at the Apple HomePod thing that they've got, is every article I've read about the smart speaker system from Apple is that it's absolutely amazing sound, but they're never going to work with third parties because it's Apple, and they're massively going to limit themselves, and they'll be behind from the get-go because of that. And that's where Google are never going to go.
Right.
So they're always, I think their console is going to be extremely easy to make content for.
And,
that's a really good take, actually. I like that.
And what I think is, I remember watching XCOM streams, and everyone swore by playing XCOM 2 on PC as opposed to console because you could get mods. So what if this is a console that lets you get mods?
Oh, I would buy that. Oh, I would buy it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be connected to everything. As you said, loads of people have already got loads of Google products in their homes already. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, you know, you can connect to your games console. Your games console could hold on its hard drive all of your games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're at home, you could have mobile games installed on there that you can play on your phone without using up your phone's hard drive space.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be stuff like, it'll be super hyper connected. And then if you've got their, you know, internet package and all of that, you probably get extra special stuff. It probably connects in a special way through the internet. There's probably ways you can wake it up when you're in there, when you want to play a game, or it can connect to something else to give you a special review, or who knows where Google would take it.
Would be counteracted. That's actually quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
What I find interesting is, now I've not read the article, but is any marketing we see from Google, when they say going to compete with, if they say like the Xbox and the PS4, but they don't name Nintendo Switch or Nintendo consoles, does that mean they've identified the bit of the market they want to target, and that you can say they're not only looking to target gamers, they are looking to target the connected home? Because that's what PlayStation and Xbox started with this latest generation to try and do. That was with Xbox stupid always online rubbish was. You know, that's where they were trying to go. They want to be in connected homes. Whereas Nintendo Switch is, we want to make a games console.
Right.
And then, so does that, I mean, it's probably reading too much into it, but you're always going to do it at this early stage. There's loads of speculation. Does that give us some idea of the market they're trying to hit?
This is all pretty reasonable speculation. And even if only a quarter of that ends up being true, or what we said here, that's going to be one hell of a shakeup.
Yeah.
I mean, an interesting thing about this is they hired Phil Harrison to help them work on this project. And Phil Harrison actually used to work for Sony PlayStation for 15 years. And he was an executive. So they can get some inside info on the flaws of the PlayStation, maybe, you know, and work on that.
I mean, they can, but he could never admit to doing that.
Yeah,
exactly. God knows how many contracts he'd be breaking.
You gotta be real careful what you actually go through with,
Yeah.
Because you could be throwing him to the wolves.
Oh, yeah.
And not us.
No, not us. We're much friendlier than Sony.
Yep.
Such cuddly wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
I mean, I'm pretty cuddly. Adam looks bony.
Hey, I'm fairly cuddly. I like to think. But yeah, I think that people who would be most nervous about this are not Microsoft and not Sony. It's going to be Valve.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's a streaming service, they're going to be cutting straight into Steam, and Google is already better at handling reviews. It's already better at handling how well the user journey through buying a game. They've already got the Play Store. They've already got as much experience, if not more, than Valve of dealing with the user journey, and that is what's going to bring loads of casual people over as well. Mm-hmm. Because if it's easy to use and easy to get into and doesn't look daunting, people will go to it.
Although
and
that brings up a point, though, what John was saying at the beginning, which is, can you download the game? Because the thing is, with Steam, I buy a lot of games through Steam, but they're all on my hard drive, and I can open them without Steam, which is part of the appeal of buying the game that way. I don't know that I'm going to feel that way about just paying for the ability to access the game, and then when I no longer pay for the ability to access the game, I don't have it anymore. I'm literally paying for the time that I'm actually playing it, not the ability to play it whenever I want. Now, maybe you can download them. We don't know how it's going to work, but
I've got just off the top of my head, I've got a theory.
Mm-hmm.
Google has the Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
What about if you have a game drive that it's effectively in the cloud, but it's your space? That's where your games are held. Not on a physical hard drive, but they're held on another part of your Google life, another part of the Google account, and that's where it plays them from. It holds them there. It connects to it through your internet, but it's effectively yours. It's just like it's going from gold bullion to the stock market almost. You're going from physical copies to digital copies to your physical own cloud copy that you've got forever, just like a hard drive, just like a normal game, just like a disc. But instead of being able to hold the hard drive it's on, you're taking it into the slightly further abstract concept of, well, it's in my area of the cloud. It's in my home in the cloud.
That could compete with the Switch a little bit too, in some ways.
See, that would actually be fine with me, but it does raise the same concerns as Xbox One's original plan to constantly be online in order to play the games. That not everyone has access to good, efficient internet in order to do that all the time.
Oh,
they wouldn't buy that service.
You can't play games at all.
Yeah.
I think Google would likely anticipate that, and there'll be some make available offline thing where it does download a copy, but there's no way for you to access the copy on the console, or who knows. That's the problem. Who knows what they will do, because it's Google, and they could do something crazy out of left field that no one anticipated. But it is difficult to get around the whole what happens if I don't have an internet connection at one point and I want to play a game. But conversely, what happens if I go around someone else's house and I can sign my drive in as a temporary guest while we're there, and we can play my games at their house?
Yeah.
Just like taking my disc round there.
Yeah.
Back in the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the good old days of scratched discs.
I scratched 2 Final Fantasy VII discs. I've bought 4 copies of that game.
No.
I'm just so upset.
That game's so lucky it's good enough.
Right.
Oh, I love that game so much.
Alright, so in the end, I'm actually really excited to see where this goes, and hopefully it will push Valve, if it's fair competition, to actually change, because Valve is super complacent.
Yeah.
Speaking of Valve, a pretty good change. Valve has cut ties with Incel Games, not Incel in the creepy way, it's a different language Incel, after catching them manipulating review scores. Essentially, this small independent studio sent out an email to their 20 or so employees and contractors being like, you know what would really help our company if everybody went and wrote a positive review on Steam.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's super not okay. You can't do that.
Oh yeah.
I think the thing is they've done it in a very corporate company. They've tried. They're only small, but they've tried to do it in a very clever corporate company way without having the financial lawyer backing of big companies, where they've gone, reviews are very important to you all still having a job next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, in a very directed. It's not specifically saying what they want you to do. So that when they got found out that a whole bunch of fake accounts have been made by employees for positive reviews, that afterwards they could go, we didn't tell them to do it. Mm-hmm. We only tried to highlight how important making a good game was.
But based on their response, that's how they're framing it. But Steam just doesn't care. Steam doesn't want them on the platform.
Right.
Good. You shouldn't have to eat up that kind of bullshit on a daily basis. Like, paid for.
They need to be more consistent with this, but it's a good decision. I'm glad they did it.
I couldn't agree more. Reviews are extremely, extremely important for consumers making informed decisions, like we said earlier. And if you go on and manipulate those to make your game look better than it is, people are going to be hoodwinked into separating money that they could have spent on a game that was actually well reviewed, that they actually wanted to play. Because you can read reviews, and plenty of games get bought with mediocre reviews because people still think, well, other people didn't like it for I've seen the reasons, and I don't think they feel like they apply to me, so I'm still going to give it a go. And loads of people will still do that. I mean, if you have bad reviews, you do sell less. That's just the way. That's the way it is. But if you don't want bad reviews, fix the issues with your game.
There's a correlation between bad reviews and not selling well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and like Adam was saying, I've looked at games where people are like, yeah, this game really wasn't worth the, $50 asking price. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm looking at it on sale for $15, so I don't care that it's not worth $50 because I'm only going to pay $15.
Some reviewers, and I'm going to shout out to Rel, one of the Wolfpackers. He often mentions that, like, this is how much it costs. I think it's worth or not worth that much. Get it if you can get it on sale, or don't get it because it sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
I really like that. So
yeah.
It really helps.
Yeah, you can find reviewers who give you that kind of like sweet information.
You're right.
Well, it's a really important consideration. How much does a game play? Is it worth that much?
Right.
Like, I'm trying to think of. I think it might have been a Call of Duty game or something at one point where it had the skeleton of a single player mode in it, which lasted a little bit. So it was basically a multiplayer game, but it was being sold for the same price as, say, more or slightly more than The Witcher 3 when it first came out, which is an amazing game with a great storyline. It's like, is it worth it? Is it worth buying a multiplayer game? And there are hundreds of multiplayer shooters for the same price as a AAA story-driven, hundreds of hours content title.
I mean, that comes down to how much you like those games and how much you're going to play.
Yeah, it does.
For some people, absolutely, but probably not as many people as actually end up buying it.
Right.
But then again, you go, I suppose you're right. And that touches on is this game worth it? In my opinion, which is all what reviews are. So,
yeah, and I hate when I see people going like, well, X game, they basically bring the amount of time they end up playing a game, like the time to beat of a game versus its price, and try to determine the value that way when that's kind of narrow.
Yeah.
Like, from that perspective, Skyrim's the most valuable game that ever existed.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that and Minecraft. Like, you could basically play it forever.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
But that's not fair, because as much as I like Skyrim, and it might be my favorite game, the gameplay can get a little stale.
Yeah.
But part of its longevity is, and I think this is what I like about video games, is some games are, if the game is easy to mod,
highly modular games are the best.
Yeah. Easily modded games are just have so much more lifespan because it's community driven. It's passion. All the mods on there are projects of passion, and that comes through. And it's someone has thought, I think this would make it really good, and then gone and done it, and everyone thinks this makes it really good.
Yeah.
And it perseveres in the environment, and it gives the game extra life. And that is why And that is why Valve have the Creators Workshop. They start saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, bring in mods," and that's why, to some extent, Sony get crapped on because they're like, no, we don't want to play with mods.
Sony's got a bit of a control issue.
Yeah, a little bit. There are worse companies, but Sony have definitely. Like, I think you can see that in the movies as well. How long did it take for them to realise that they were never going to make a good superhero film without Marvel's help?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they gave it over to Marvel, suddenly the films were good. What a surprise!
Yeah.
So going back to a little bit of a throwback to the Google story and how part of the problem might be that people don't have easy internet access, SpaceX is apparently planning to create a satellite array to provide the entire planet with internet.
Ooh.
Yes, help me. Yes.
Help me, based Musk. Help me.
You're my only hope.
Yeah.
You guys,
So,
I need this.
So real life Tony Stark, Elon Musk, plans to have this satellite thing up by 2024 or so.
Ooh.
And it's going to entail like thousands and thousands of satellites at 2 different orbits to provide different like redundancies of coverage.
That's crazy.
I have one
just don't know
question. Will this be high speed or not?
I think the lower ones are meant to be like the good high-speed signals, and the upper ones are backup.
Ah.
So this would be a thing where you'd have to pay SpaceX, or he's just going to pay to just give everyone the internet?
I don't know. I haven't found an answer
seriously,
for that.
like, go ahead, Adam.
No, my in direct response to that question, in the UK we have all the lines are laid by BT British Telecoms, and there's a couple like Virgin who lay their own, but everyone else rents space on those lines. I think it's going to be that, and I think that because Ajit Pai came out in favour of it, saying it was a really good idea, which means he thinks Verizon can make a shit ton of money on it.
Okay, then you're probably right.
That's just my guess.
No, that's a really good take. I don't trust Ajit Pai as far as he could throw me. So. I'm really fat.
What I was
a lovely turnaround on the phrase.
But what I was saying, what concerned me is, concern's not even really the right word. If this was just like internet access for all everywhere, there's going to be a couple countries that aren't going to be very happy with that.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, Musk is just crazy enough to do that. Because he could see, like, I can make a shitload of money in other ways, and this just makes it easier for me to interact with my clients. Like, this just makes it easier for customers to interact with my stuff.
Right.
So, I actually think Adam's probably right on that, now that he's mentioned that insiders are big fans of this that shouldn't be. But it's not out of reason, because the guy is crazy and rich and just likes to throw his money around.
It's got there are so many like permutations and knock-on consequences that could happen because of this. Like, what happens to all the cables in the ground? Do they become an extremely high-paid service for people who don't want to be on that grid and want their own cabled internet into their house? Because arguably the physical pipes are still going to be quicker. They're still going to be able to carry more data than going through the radio waves. So is it a backup network? How, and even aside from all of the possible physical things of that, who's going to get the internet? Where will it be? How easy is it going to be for Ajit Pai to make sure there's a fast lane to his house?
How upset are aliens going to be about all the
satellites?
space clutter all around them?
No, yes, space clutter. That's exactly where I was going. You read my mind.
I just knew. I knew it.
There's already a lot of space clutter in orbit around the Earth.
I'm just thinking, how fast
is
going to
make it so much worse.
Like broken satellites. Like, it's not like these days when something's broken, the technician goes, checks the cables, helps you out. Now it's going to be like, okay, I got to send a rocket to space or something. I don't even know, like, how is support going to be at that time.
Does Elon Musk think that with the recent SpaceX launch, he can put up satellites that, should they encounter a problem, will have a backup system that will bring them back down to Earth? Because it seems unlikely for a satellite. It's fine for a rocket, but he'll have the recyclable rockets which land themselves after they've put the satellites up there. But once the satellite goes down, if a satellite develops a serious issue and breaks, what is he thinking? We're going to send like a robotic arm up there to fix it with a spanner? Or we're just going to knock it out of orbit?
IT guy, like, oh man, I gotta go in that rocket again.
Maybe this is his push to be like, build the damn space elevator.
Right.
Yeah. He's got one guy sitting in his office, and one day he's going to go, Satellite 13's down. This guy's just looking at him being like, you're going to send me into fucking space again, aren't you?
Oh man, I'll send you in a Tesla if you like.
The things we would do to drive a Tesla.
Oh man.
Yep. They're great cars. I'd love one.
But yeah, it's so early on, and he's already launching 2 up there to start it. It's like
that's just to see if he can get it the connection and the signal.
He wants to send us to Mars, like.
Well, this guy's basically like, screw caution. Let's do it though.
Yeah. Like the minute they're like, no, we need to think about this. No, let's do this now. I got money.
Yeah, I'm going to Mars.
I would like to know if there was anyone in his office who's gone, what happens to all the cables down here?
Right.
Like, has anyone been like, what would be the consequence?
You guys can just all donate it to Africa. We need help with Wi-Fi. Just help us.
Just yank up all the fiber optic cables and send them to South Africa.
Yeah, you guys can use the fancy satellites. We'll be fine. We'll just.
But that's another thing is, let's say that the satellites are like pretty good and pretty constant. Like, let's say they're equal to like current like 5G N networks. Right.
Yeah.
That is like a global competition that forces local providers to do better, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you could say that, and you say local providers then have to do better, but in the UK, local providers are given money. You're either a private company laying your own cables, or your money's given to you by the government to lay the cables. Is the government's not going to want to spend all that money if there's a free network that anyone can access up in the sky. So it's like there's a trade-off. You can still lay your own cables and get terabyte per second speeds, but they're going to be expensive. So the fastest, it all feeds. Unless something changes with the way we manage corporations, the way we manage money in the world, you're gonna have a situation where everyone gets on a damn decent network up there, but decent by today's standards. In 10 years, streaming 4K content will be the standard. Streaming HD content in 10 years will be the equivalent of streaming 480p content now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have to use up that much more bandwidth. And the people who can do best, the people who are playing games online and streaming and doing all the other stuff, are going to be the people who can afford the terabyte hardline that's been laid by this extraordinarily expensive private company, while everyone else is on the pauper Musk service.
Right. So what you're saying is that Elon Musk is once again perhaps getting ahead of himself.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff about the way the world works which could make this be a problem. Especially if everyone is on the network and the only thing stopping anyone from accessing it is software. It's the way you set up your IPs. It's the way you set up, the UK's network versus Africa's network versus Canada's network. There's no physical hard block between that, like there could be today. Like you could go and chop the continental network cable that runs through the bottom of the sea and cut off network to entire continents now. You won't be able to do that then. You'd have to shoot rockets into space to try and knock satellites out.
Right.
And North Korea's going to try to blow up the internet.
Yeah, someone's going to do something stupid. Someone's going to send some malicious code out that we're not going to be prepared for. It's going to bring everything down and we'll be plunged into the dark ages because the only people who have physical lines are the super rich who can afford it and no one else will have any network.
It'll be like Live Free, Die Hard.
Like a bunch of corporations now sending satellites into space.
I would like to submit that as a possible title, John.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are too many possible future permutations that we cannot see. It's almost as dangerous as playing with AI. We just can't see every possible consequence to be able to say with good certainty that it's a really good idea.
Okay. Anybody have anything else to add?
Nope. I'm good. I've said my piece.
So our next story, after 5 years in development, Rust has finally left early access.
There's a large, string of games that have... I mean, maybe not large, but I just feel like there's been a couple of early access long-timers that have recently popped out of early access. Because what was the other one? Was it PUBG?
Ark. PUBG,
yep, Ark,
there was
PUBG,
one.
Yep, a bunch of them.
It's like they've decided this is the time. They have fully bloomed now. They're butterflies. I don't know. Metaphors.
Yeah, well, they all seem to have one thing in common. They get a big, fat patch ready, apply the patch, and call it a full game. Like, PUBG introduced a whole bunch of different stuff, new maps, new mechanics and everything, and just, jammed it onto the game after working it on the test server, and, here's PUBG. It's a full game. Rust just did a huge graphical upgrade, and they're like, here's a full game.
Yeah, you're right. That patch, you're in early access for so long that you totally blur the lines of what is an early access game and what is a full release game.
Yeah.
At some point, it's more of a transition than a release. And so many... yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think the big patch is their way to sort of, add a sense of finality to it. This is it.
I mean, this may be crazy, but why don't you just stop access to the game for a week and say, we're getting ready, we're going to release the full release in a week, and make a big marketing to do about it, because you're doing so much stuff in the back that you need to clear the servers and the player base down to get it ready.
I'd be super butt furious if they just did that and I already played the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, otherwise, it's just it's just a transition. There is no actual release. There's no marketing hype. You've already got all the users. So it never really feels like a release. They do the final release and people are like, oh, we got some extra shiny stuff.
I mean,
but
you're not far off, man, because that's the exact marketing thing that Disney did when they bought Star Wars. Because, Star Wars went from, even though it wasn't releasing movies, it had an ongoing TV show in the Clone Wars that was massively successful. It was regularly releasing novels, regularly releasing content, or comics, regularly releasing new toys. Disney bought it, and it stopped. They shut down the Clone Wars, which was partly because of distribution rights, because Time Warner owned the distribution rights. So that was really the issue there. But they stopped that. No books released, no nothing for almost 2 years. It went from releasing things all the time. It was probably closer to a year, but they did a full year, maybe year and a half, where just nothing came out. And it was driving me crazy and was making me nervous. And everyone was like, no, we're also nervous about this. They need to be releasing things still because people are going to forget about Star Wars, which made me laugh. I'm like, no one's going to forget about Star Wars in a year. What planet do you live on? But they're like, it's not going to happen. And then The Force Awakens came out, and it was after this long drought, suddenly there was stuff again, and it was just intoxicating because it was everywhere.
After this massive blue balls.
Yeah.
Just.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they basically took a bunch of addicts, took away their drugs.
Yeah.
And not long enough to make them sober, just long enough so that the withdrawals hit so hard, and it was 6 more months and we would have been cured, but they waited to that just when you're at your most desperate, and then they dropped a whole bunch, and it was really impeccable timing.
Okay.
So that, I mean, I can agree that it's more of a transitional thing, and it's kind of why not just open the game up and whatnot? But I can also see the logic behind what Adam was saying of like, why not just cut everyone off for a little bit and then launch it again?
Is it okay for a game to be in early access for 5 years?
Is it early? Is it early access?
How long do games stay in development?
A long time. Some games are in development for very long. Some games are not in development for a very long time. I suppose it's different per game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
what happens? All the early access these days means is come and play the game. If you see loads of bugs, we can say, "Oh well, it's early access, and you have to expect that."
Yeah.
And then when we feel like we've got most of the bugs out, we'll double the price to the price of a full game and say, "Oh, it's left early access."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do have problems with essentially making you pay to be their beta tester. Like, that bugs me. But at the same time, it has allowed for some games that probably never would have gotten off the ground because the studios that, or not the studios, the publishers making them just didn't have the resources to actually make the game. So,
like something like PUBG, I never would have guessed would have been as, like, I would have seen it as like, oh, yeah, this could be kind of fun for, like, 3 months while it's hip to play in college, but I never would have expected it to be a game that's, like, something everybody talks about and everyone plays.
Sure. And if they didn't have such a massive, like, open beta that they essentially had, even though they had to sell the game to do it, I don't think the game would have turned out as good as it did.
Because you have to have a lot of people playing it to find all the bugs.
Right. So I think there's sort of a trade-off there where, like, from a practical standpoint, I think it actually makes a lot of sense, even if I'm bothered by the idea of paying to be a beta tester.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose there's a balance to be struck by developers.
I think we have to make that call game per game.
Yeah.
Okay. Spyro the Dragon.
Woohoo!
The original 3 games in the Spyro series are getting remastered and released this year.
That's a great idea.
So I didn't really play Spyro growing up, but I'm pretty sure some of you did. And got any thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. This game... the only problem I have, and I think I'm the only person in the world that has this problem, I found Spyro looks so much better with the PS1 graphics than he does now. I feel like it's too much. He looks a bit grumpy. Like, he looked so cute in PS1. Like, he was adorable. He was the little dragon that didn't get attacked by Nasty Knock. Like, because he was short. And then they made Skylanders and all those games, and I looked at Spyro and I was like, what happened? They aged you. Like, why? Like, graphics just made him look so grouchy, but
he's now the angsty teen Spyro. He's picked up e-cigs,
He's Shadow the Dragon.
Life happened with Spyro, like, over the years. But, I mean, I'm excited. Vicarious Visions is doing this. They're the ones that made Crash Bandicoot so freaking hard when they rebooted it. But, I mean, it's a bit of nostalgia. Can't wait to see Spox, his dragonfly friend, and that irritating blue thing that you had to chase around to get the blue diamond and kept running around, and it was annoying. But, I can't wait to see this. It'll be a good game. It'll be good.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like this is going to be another big hit for that developer.
Yeah.
Yeah. They seem to have a knack for picking the games that people are really nostalgic for. Which helps, obviously. Because I think there was the big kick. There's been a big kick for nostalgic games in the last few years, hasn't there?
Yeah,
like remakes. And not all of them have been big hits. I'm sure there have been some failed Kickstarters for, let's remake this game because it was awesome. And it's like, you're the only one who thought so. That's the danger. That's the danger of nostalgia, is you can find something nostalgic, but other people may not. What a developer's done is looked at, do we think this game will be popular for a large group of people?
Bring back E.T. the video game, right?
Oh God!
Oh.
Why?
Remaster it.
That's just like you know what? Yes, do it.
Yeah.
Because people will realise that wasn't actually the worst game that Atari ever brought out.
I feel like there'd be so many people who would buy it out of irony anyway.
They would definitely do it.
I would probably buy it out of
And the developer would
irony.
have to go out of their way to make it as cryptic and painful as possible, just to live up to the hype. Can you imagine if you picked up the remake and you're like, well, this kind of makes sense actually, you'd be really disappointed.
Right.
Yeah. Upcoming game Egress asks, what if PUBG, but Dark Souls?
Ooh. It's the question that every television producer asks when they think of a show. What if this show, but this other show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, they
sense.
want to do a Souls-like, like a Soulsborne game that is battle royal.
That sounds like a good deal, honestly.
I'm
I
just
mean,
picturing you fighting something with like a frying pan.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, but
Imagine that, like this giant beast, and I have a frying pan to defend myself.
Yes.
well, I don't know if they're going to be like boss monsters or not. But the idea is to build your character the way you would in Dark Souls,
Oh.
and I assume everybody will have so many points to put into stats,
Right.
or maybe everyone just has a basic ability, and you find your weapon, and you find your armor, you put it on, and you've got like rolls and your attack patterns and parries, and it actually sounds really fun.
Yeah, it does.
fun. Yeah.
Because like I'm not interested in more. I haven't been interested in more battle royals past PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Fight me, Fortnite nerds. But like, I would give Battleground Souls a try.
Right. Well,
I'd definitely try it.
and I feel
I
like
would watch you guys play.
right, yeah.
because
There's
I
so
would
many
be
people I would
salty.
know would be fun to watch. But I think about having never played Dark Souls, but having watched a lot of people play it. I think of when you get invaded and stuff. I feel like getting invaded is kind of annoying, but if that was like the point, it could be a lot of fun, if that makes sense.
For a lot of players, that is the point of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
some people love the PvP. Some people consider Dark Souls to be the best fighting game experience you can have.
I think I watched a stream of Yalgi who literally just played PvP for a while with people from the stream.
Yeah.
And loads of people do it. They go on to play PvP.
There's
So it is popular.
one person in the Wolfpack goes by Max Attacks. He's got a player in his stream named Yesip, and Yesip is a frickin' like just ninja, like Dark Souls ninja. It's crazy to watch him. Like I've watched,
Yeah, I know you.
I've watched him do PvP, and it's like not even competition. It's crazy.
Nice.
I suppose the difficult balance is, how do you stop it just... How do you... Because Dark Souls is a game about pure skill, right? You have to be good at it to get through it. You have to learn attack patterns and all that kind of thing. How do you keep that at the beginning when you've got a whole bunch of people just whacking each other with the beginning sticks?
You watch your opponent's attacks at the beginning sticks, figure out what moves they're using too much, figure out what they're relying on, figure out if you can parry or roll it, get behind them for a backstab.
I mean, yeah, my question is, what happens if there's 4 of you there at the same time? At which point does it...
And you're
at which point do you
naked.
have too many people and you're naked? You don't know which stick to watch out for.
I mean, then you,
Sorry.
well, there's the title of the podcast.
Yeah, that beats mine for sure.
Oh man.
There's 4 of you and you're naked and you don't know which stick to look out
No,
for.
I think it should just be you don't know which stick to watch out for, and let people just imagine.
I
But
just love the way he built us up for that. He was like, and he's genuinely concerned about it. He's like, we don't know which stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that comes down to you making a decision. Like, do you engage them or do you just effing run?
Yeah.
Or do you just
would
F?
run.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
or do
could.
you just
do you
like
just F?
I mean,
just
that's what
give
they'd
them
say.
While
a
you're
nice
at it.
romantic fist? You know?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good tactic, you distract them, but then you kill them. See?
Mm-hmm.
I like a nice romantic fist to be the title, actually.
You shouldn't have said that to be a title thing. We're just gonna take King Starscreem.
It's just everything now.
I just like a nice romantic.
To be fair, the last time I came up with a title, I also made a meme to go along with it.
Yes.
It said I could be anything, so I became the payload.
That's my favorite one so far, and that's like one of the most watched episodes.
Oh, that day.
Right. So yeah, Egress looks pretty cool. I do think we're getting a bit saturated in the genre, but this one's probably worth it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's a lot of frustration with some of them for new players that you don't always know where you're being killed from, and that feels like it takes a lot of the skill out.
Yes, I still haven't figured out how to use PUBG. I've been playing PUBG on and off for a while now. I still don't know how to trigger the kill cam.
Oh, I have no idea.
It would be great to know, like I'm just driving along and it's like, pap, dead. Well, where?
Yeah, exactly. That it feels like it takes away your sense of control over what's happening. If I get killed by someone because they were better than me and that was obvious,
right?
As much as I'd shout and cover my screen in spittle, I would be able to understand it.
Right.
Well, you're definitely going to know how your opponent beats you in Dark Souls.
Yeah, he stuck a sword up my bum.
Yeah, like you attacked, they parried you like a scrub and just like cut you into ribbons.
Yeah.
That you tried to attack them and they just sent you to the Shadow Realm.
Or sometimes you kill them and then you trip and fall, like John has done before.
Right. Oh yeah, no matter how good you get at Dark Souls, you will always just fall to your death sometimes.
Yeah, I stopped
it's
playing.
Super humbling.
Like,
I was playing the first one.
John
I reached a
falls.
bridge.
Yeah.
I
Like,
reached
Couchbone's
a bridge
better
with
at
some
Souls
lizard
than me.
dudes.
Still happens to him. Our last story tonight. Metal Gear Solid 5's hidden nuclear disarmament event, intended to reward the community for collectively disarming their weapons of mass destruction, triggered earlier this month because there were actually too many nukes. So, what happened, apparently, was out of nowhere this event triggered, and Konami had no idea why. Because there were very clearly still nuclear weapons in the online game portion of Metal Gear Solid 5. What it turns out happened was hackers had increased the number of WMDs that they had to the point where it overflowed back to 0.
Oh.
So there were so many nukes, the game thought they were disarmed.
Wow.
Right?
It's like a beautiful example of MMO speed hacking or something.
It's the Gandhi effect.
It is.
It's kind of beautiful, really.
Yeah, it's magic, and everybody got to see this like wonderful reward that Kojima left in his game for when everyone decided to stop the nuclear proliferation, because they proliferated so much the game couldn't handle it.
I think that's really a statement on humanity, really.
Yeah.
When everyone has as many sticks as they can hold, no one can do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Not important story, just made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah, I think it's super cool. And it's a really interesting thing of, like, if you go and watch speedruns of old games, loads of times you'll hear people say, like, especially RPGs. I watched one recently where if you get hit on the same frame you take poison damage, you'll underflow the damage. You'll overflow the damage stat, and it will suddenly ramp up your strength or something, and then you can wipe out everything and complete the game really quick. And it's just like, you don't expect something like that from a game that looks like Metal Gear Solid 5.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an old trick of coding that people think, well, that won't happen today. And then it does, and it's beautiful.
Well, it's hard to happen because we're not using hexadecimal anymore for that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's more than 255 possibilities. But just it happened that the hackers were so prolific on the online thing, and the way the online thing handled data transfer, it just thought there was 0.
That's crazy.
It's really cool because it's like when the game developers are saying, okay, well, what happens if people keep getting nukes? No one thought, well, maybe we should have a top limit on how many nukes there are in the game.
Right.
Because they obviously thought, no, we'll never get to that point. And then the second you put a game developer says, this will never happen.
It happens.
Exactly. It's just you're just shooting yourself in the foot at that point.
Right.
Yeah, it's really, you should never underestimate people who will play your video game for 24 hours a day. They will find something.
Yeah, but this isn't even people who are just like playing the shit out of the game. They're just cheating.
It's I really don't have a lot to say. I'm just completely moved by this. Like,
yeah, it's beautiful.
It really is.
Like one of those things you just want to think about. Like, damn.
It's one of those things where cheating is bad, but if you cheat enough, it becomes something different.
Right.
That's beautiful, Adam.
Yeah, it was just...
Adam's very deep right
He
now.
is. He is.
Like, he's just being very poetic.
You can... That's what she said. Sorry.
And then we go there.
I'm very sorry. Yeah.
Speaking of a big romantic fist.
Well, it's just kind of like, when you're around little kids and they do something wrong, but they do something wrong with such spectacular ingenuity. It's like, you don't want...
of impressed.
You're kind of secretly impressed, and you don't want to shut down the creativity, but at the same time, it was wrong. It's like that kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I think that was a podcast.
I think it was.
Thank you so much for being here, Adam. This is great.
Yeah, this was a good time.
We've recorded way too long.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, sorry.
This is going to be the longest podcast we've ever had.
Oh, man.
Like, I'm not going to aim for an hour, 10 minutes or whatever, because that seems impossible.
Yeah, we were getting it done.